It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Inside. No, this is Mayor Fanucci. Insight, it's called. That's right. Insight with the most famous mayor the city of Vineland has ever had. Congratulations, Mayor Fanucci, on setting a record that's never been held in this city before. That's fantastic.
Thank you very much. It's a very humbling experience, to say the least.
And you look great. It must have been a good campaign. You must be out running a lot, huh?
We were moving. We were everywhere we had to be, and just you get energized. Now that it's on the downside, you're just trying to catch up and regroup a little bit. But we're doing all right.
That's
very excited to be back for another 4 years.
The city's very lucky to have you for another 4 years.
Thank you.
You've done a fantastic job.
I appreciate it.
My God, folks, if you live in Vineland, just look around the city.
Thank you. This is what I call perfect service here, over here at the Queen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My friend Flotty was here earlier. He usually runs the Millville Queen.
Nice.
And, they're getting ready to open another one in first of the year in Malaga.
Malaga, right? Yeah, I was so excited to hear that.
Yeah, they've been doing so well. And speaking of the Queen, before we go any further, I want to mention to you, they have this fabulous deal, folks. It's still going on. For two people, for $30, you can get your choice of chicken parm, Italian-style meatloaf, baked ziti parmesan, homemade lasagna, eggplant parm, grilled marinated chicken, baked stuffed shelled parmesan, sauteed calf liver, or sauteed chicken scampi, roast turkey, which is one of my favorites, and spaghetti with meatballs. And with that, you get soup or salad, and a dessert, all for $15 if you have two of you. If it's only one, you got to pay $16, so $1 more, but not bad at all.
You can't beat their prices here.
No, you can't.
And the food's very good.
It is. You're absolutely right, Mayor. It's very good, and they really and truly give you great portions too. You're not going to be skipped on. You're going to get. In fact, they always take half of it home.
Yeah, I was in for breakfast the other day with one of my customers, and first of all, the service was fantastic.
Yeah.
Food was great. And a lot of times you go out to breakfast and you end up being out there for an hour and a half because you're either it's slow or something. Nope. Let me tell you, it was probably one of the fastest breakfast meetings I ever had, but it was fantastic, and again, the quality of the food was incredible. So always grateful to be here, Queen.
Well, and we've been. This is our third year, Ryan, being here. Yeah, I think the third year.
How about that? 3 already?
Yeah, time flies. And now that you got reelected, you got another 4 years.
You're stuck with me that long, Jim?
I would love to have.
I don't know.
Possible.
I think Ryan will probably be ready to run away by then.
No, Ryan's got a lifetime contract. He's our producer. Without him, we couldn't be.
No, that's exactly right. We're grateful to Ryan.
Yeah, and Ryan does the football games, the basketball games, the baseball games, and all these
Speaking of
things.
football games, big game tonight.
Yeah, that's right. The Eagles are playing tonight against Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, the Commanders. Wow. Yeah. That's on Prime Network, right?
Yeah, I'm not loving all these streaming things for NFL football, but it is what it is.
Sure.
So it's the way of the world today.
Yeah, that is it.
But
I don't know if you happen to see online today or anything. Well, let's go over first of all your people that ran with you. Tell everybody who your council people are.
So we have returning Paul Spinelli, Al Vargas, and Dr. Elizabeth Arthur. Okay. And then we have two newcomers, in Cruz Gomez and Scott English. Many people are familiar with Scott, of course, because he was on the school board.
Yeah,
Yep. Cruz is a newcomer to elected office, however, has had a full career at the school system in warehousing and purchasing and things there, and he's a small business owner as well. As was Scott in the plumbing business, but Scott's now an educator in the Delsey school system. He's teaching the trade.
Oh, that's super.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, that is. It's wonderful.
And Cruz also is a pastor, and he works in finance and accounting and bookkeeping and things of that nature as well.
Multi-talented.
Yeah, listen, you know me, I got to get them all.
You got it. My gosh.
So again, we cover education, small business, law enforcement, the clergy, you name it, we got it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's always been great. We always looked at diversity when I was selecting council members, partially of which would be obviously either gender or ethnic background. but predominantly I want a diversity in their professional lives.
Yeah, that's a good
because
point.
when you're running a city,
Yeah.
you know, and listen, nobody's got to tell you.
Yeah.
You were in government how many years? 4 decades plus?
At 35.
Yeah, so, yeah, right? And, you know, you need the best people you can have behind you to understand vision, understand finance, understand budgeting and money, and yeah. So I'm very, very grateful, and I want to, of course, thank David Acosta and Ron Franceschini for being with us in the 2 previous terms.
Yeah, good guys.
And they've decided for different reasons to just kind of semi-retire, I like to say, out of the elected offices, but very grateful for them. Very grateful for Angela Kalakis still, who was with us in our first term, but also served with me when I was on council.
That's right.
Who was a great lady, and that's when she moved out of the area is how we got Dr. Arthur.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, yeah, you've got some great people there.
Yeah,
That's
we really do. Very blessed.
Yes, you are. Of course, Paul Spinelli's the one I know the best, and just think the world of him. And he fills in for me when I can't be here, so it makes it nice as well.
Paul's no stranger to having a personality or getting on TV, especially when he was on the basketball court.
Oh, yeah, he was one of the best. In fact, that leads me to a story anyway. He and my cousin Joey Baruffi were both officials. I think they worked together, and they
number of times.
They have a great respect for each other. Well, Saturday night, my cousin Joe Baruffi is my cousin because he married my cousin Jill, Curly.
Curly, yeah.
And Saturday night at the Marigis, we're having a family birthday party for the former mayor, Harry Curly, who's turning 90.
God bless.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've seen him late, Mayor, but when I go out to the gunning club on Mananico, he goes there. He looks great.
I was going to say, I saw him, what are we, November? In October. I was out for dinner on a Wednesday night, and he was there, and Joe Baruffi was there, and a couple of the other usual suspects. And the mayor looked good. Yeah. And, you know, I said hello and good evening. It was good to see him, and, you know, and so forth. And we, you know, just were cordial for a minute or two, and then, you know, that place gets chaotic, right?
Yeah,
the food starts coming out.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a meal.
Oh, my God. It's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah. Donnie Fiocchi and them, they put on a show with the food.
With A2. It's unbelievable.
He makes the best pork and broccoli rabe. I keep telling him, when are you making the pork again? When are you making the pork? They do pork sandwiches. And I said, I want pork for dinner. I'm not waiting for the sandwich sale. Man, he does a rub, and he lets it sit and marinate, and you name it. Folks, we're spoiled out in East Vineland.
Yes, you are. I've gone out with Nick Aselda several times.
Oh, yeah.
My God, it's unbelievable.
They do a great job. And you know what? You always feel like you're at home.
Yeah.
You know, I get a call ritually either on a Monday or Tuesday, hey, this is the menu. Are you able to make it? And I'll be like, And I literally try to schedule a Wednesday a month or a Wednesday every couple months in there to go.
It really is.
It's just a good group of people to be around.
Yeah, they really are.
And they make a salad like nobody's business.
Oh, my God, that's fabulous. And the soups I've had have been wonderful.
Forget it.
Yeah, it's like amazing. In fact, speaking of mayors, I ran into Mayor Barcy and his wife out to Marigis one night. It was good to see him. He seems to be doing well, you know, also. In fact, it is interesting, folks. Mayor Fanucci is the first mayor in the history of the city of Vineland to win 3 4-year terms. And that says something because, I mean, Hal Kelly's been there for, 6 terms or 6 terms or whatever. But it says a lot for you because of the fact of what you've accomplished. I mean, I'm so proud of you and what you've been able to do. And
Thank you.
And you've got great counsel, as you mentioned, and they work with you, and they have their talents they bring to the table, and you know, it's just wonderful. I'm so proud of Vineland and just see everything that's happening. In fact, I just saw recently another new muffler tire place or something's being built right across from where we are here. This area keeps building up. Another thing went up here on the right.
Car wash.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, I knew.
What a great car wash too.
That's good.
That's definitely my fill-in. You know, when I'm in between, like getting my trucks detailed and things like that. Right. I come over here. It's touchless, and it really this thing, believe it or not, does a really damn good job. Yeah,
I've gone to the one down on near Sherman or whatever, that area too. Very, very nice.
Family-owned business.
Oh, that's nice.
Gentleman there is a committee person in Buena Vista Township on their town council there.
You must know Ellen Shapiro or Ellen Testa.
Yes, matter of fact, they ran together.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
So, you know, they've invested a lot of money there and really to build something for their children.
That's wonderful.
You know, and help with a nest egg, I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And again, this was a piece of property that hadn't been looked at to be developed because it was slightly undersized, or there was an issue with, trying to get water connection, when different things were looked at it over the years. There was a house there at one point, and then that got demolished. And, fortunately, people come in and they have ideas. We market what we want, and then we make things work, and we make it a business-friendly environment. And they, invested a couple $1 million into this thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
The computerization is incredible.
Oh my God, that's super.
Wow. And it's clean. And they're here on weekends themselves with their kids picking weeds and vacuuming and straightening things out. It's very nice to see.
It really is. Yeah, that's fantastic. Boy, speaking of people that have been helpful in the city of Vineland for you, I was talking to Sandy Forsiski on the way up here. But what a great job she's done. Somebody was talking to me. Oh, this was funny. And I don't have to worry about this because I'm not in office or running for office. Somebody was ripping me the other day on Facebook that it's my fault the Section 8 housing's in Millville. Section 8 housing, last I knew, was a state
I would say that's a state issue. It's got nothing to do with you.
No, I know.
Right.
So I laughed. I said, you know what? I don't care. Say whatever the heck you want. I'm not running for anything. And I just unfriended that jerk, and that's the way it goes. So it is nice in that sense. Don't take the abuse anymore. I did hear, and I know there was probably going to be a recount, but I did hear that Bob Ostino beat Joe Cilio by 49 votes on the recount.
I just heard that just a little while ago before on my way in, and I guess it's close enough where there's a recount.
Sure,
it
will be.
Listen, that's Mr. Ostino has been an elected official for
15 years.
Yeah. He lost a hard-fought battle for sheriff, where Sheriff Donato literally outworked him.
Wait, do you know him, Mike Donato?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a super guy!
What a gentleman!
And it's funny, Jimmy Sorrow and Sandy Taylor tell me that when they were running with him, they called him the general because he made sure they got out.
Yeah.
And to their credit, to all the Republicans' credit, they really, really worked. I never worked that hard. Never went the degree that they've done. But Joe Kondo and Senator Testa have really, got the organization.
They revamped the organization, and it's a hustle-based thing, because for years, I don't know, it's almost like you get used to defeat, and you kind of lull in it a little bit. Well, to the senator's credit / chairman, he's been able to revitalize things, bring in a good team. And I'll tell you, you've had people in the party come so close over the years to winning on the Republican side when it was Democratic waves constantly. And some of the people that worked the hardest, in campaigning in those past years, I remember former Chief Cottaspati. He was running for surrogate, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was against Doug.
Yeah.
Right, Rainier.
Yeah.
And, and who's a staple, right?
Yeah.
In that office for years. And I'll tell you, Chief came very close, and him and his wife Kim were out everywhere in the heat and the weather, and those people worked hard, but the work ethic kind of dominoed a little bit, and frankly, chairman / senator demands a little bit more excellence from you, and it's hard, especially in a county like Cumberland where, frankly, Democrats outnumber Republicans.
Yeah, they still do, but they don't win much. But they but again, I don't know what. How they're working it and what they're doing.
It's tough, and and again, to Commissioner Director Cilio's issue, he was a director.
Yeah,
it's hard. You're taking shots for everybody, and
you're right,
and that's a tough one. And for Mr. Ostino, who's now seems to be elected unless something comes up different with a recount, which I guess they have to do that within a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Is there, and it's interesting. I know John Capizzola worked very hard again.
Yeah.
I saw him all over social media and everywhere possible.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, he fell slightly short.
Yeah.
But it's not for lack of effort. Just some ways somehow things turn that way. And to Tony Romero,
he did really well.
Who did well again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top vote getter.
So it just works out that way, and it's. Elected office, as is cyclical.
Yeah,
you win some, you lose some, you win some more. If your heart's in it and you're truly in it, whether you're elected or not, you're going to stay involved. You're going to continue to be there. What I don't like politically is the Johnny-come-lately, right?
Yeah.
And that means I'm showing up today because I'm running for office tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Where you've been the last few years.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, pay your dues, help out. Yeah.
Even before I ran for the Board of Education the first time in 2006, I'd already been involved in mentoring programs and coaching and a number of things that were, you know, benefit and charity oriented, where I was engaged in the community.
Yeah.
I owned my businesses. I was, you know, involved in that, and you were doing things, you know, through the Chamber of Commerce and through the YMCA and different programs, you know, and you gave back and like mentoring students and going and speaking to, you know, things as a young businessman at that time, which I'm not so young anymore, but
I still look good to me.
Thank you, I appreciate you. And that was the thing. So it's almost like people that come out of nowhere that didn't put any work in. And listen, I was doing that before I ever dreamed of running for the Board of Education, and I just felt it was part of being here in the community. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't care for that. I'm just going to show up and run concept. I don't know.
Well, you paid your dues for sure.
Yeah.
We'll be back with Mayor Fanucci right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to the Queen Restaurant, Lincoln, Atlantis, and Vineland, where you get some fantastic food at very, very reasonable prices. And it's delicious food. Please stop in. A beautiful place, really. It's one of the nicest restaurants you'll find. So come on in and enjoy a meal or two. And they're open breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're here at Insight with Mayor Fanucci, and it's a great day to be Mayor Fanucci and your council. It's a wonderful situation. And, you know, I mean, well, you never know, but I can't imagine. The only time you're not going to be the mayor is when your wife says to you, that's enough, we're going to give it up and travel. But she's been very supportive, too.
I'm very blessed because Stacy has really embraced this for the good and the bad. You know, the time that it takes, the dedication that it takes. But she's always had my back. She's been supportive. You know, my children, all 3 of them,
too.
You know, are supportive and, you know, and loving. I couldn't do it without their support. You know how difficult it is. It's time consuming. And the hard part is not even the time is one thing, but like you said, the negativity, the people that want to take shots at you. And,
exactly.
You know, your kids are old enough to read and understand, and you know, when somebody's making up a story or a lie or some kind of nonsense and they're taking shots at it, you know, they get defensive of daddy. You know, which is incredible, and I love them with all my heart.
Great.
But I never want to expose them to that kind of stuff. And this past election was nasty. on the part of some people that were obviously against us. But I'll never campaign, you know, in a negative light. I don't attack my opponents like they've attacked me over the years, and you know, have made up stories and nonsense just to try to, you know, to detract from me. And but that's what you do. When you don't have a plan and you don't have the ability to win something, you go negative, you attack, you make up stories.
Yes, exactly.
You know, the funny thing is they always want to lie about us, but God forbid you tell the truth about them.
Well, buddy, you got 4 more wonderful years.
Yeah.
And the city of Vineland is fortunate.
Very
Lots of
grateful
great
for all the
things.
support.
I mean, over just the past 4 years, let alone the 8 years, it's just been phenomenal in Vineland. So many wonderful things. Everything's building. The industrial park is jammed. I mean, I ride through there and I go, wow, this is fabulous. And, you know, all the good things that are happening. It's just really, and, you know, talking about good people, and I've always thought the world of Sandy Forsiska, as you do too.
She's phenomenal.
And you know, I will tell you, every time I call her, I think 99 out of 100 times, boom, immediately she picks up.
Oh, yeah.
And today, when I was on my way here, I had a question for her, and I called, she picked up immediately. And then, anyway, I told her, you know, we were doing the show. She says, well, I'll be home tomorrow. I'm in Florida now. I said, God bless you. Enjoy your time. But she and her husband, they do a wonderful job with
They're
GE
great
Mechanical,
people.
aren't they?
Yep. They built a hell of a business.
Yes.
Raised 2 wonderful kids.
Yep.
Grandkids now. They have, you know, it's the dream.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And,
I know one of her sons is a doctor.
Yes. And then the other one runs the company.
Yes, that's right. I've talked to him. Yep. On the phone.
And they've done a great job. And yeah, but Sandy, I couldn't imagine doing what I'm doing at City Hall with economic development without her. And honestly, her department, they run very well. They're very efficient. You know, we go to loan committee, and Frank has things, you know, very detailed presentations, a lot of information, things ready for us to review and make decisions on, which is prepared, and that's always, you know, very helpful to the loan committee members. And you know, and when we need questions answered, they get back to you very quickly. So working on that UEZ loan committee is great. I'm very, very blessed for how they operate. You know, Bobby D. You know,
you don't get any better than Bobby Dickinson. He is an amazing guy. What a super guy. I've known him since he was 9 years old.
Did you coach him?
No, he was on the opposite team. We were the 2 best teams, my team and Bobby's team. And I loved his dad too. So we played in Millville American Little League, and we were the 2 best teams in the city. And what happened was they had the city Little League championship, so my team edged out Bobby's team to make it to go play the National Little League, and they were real easy to beat. Bobby's team was the tough team, but this was neat and something maybe you guys wanted to. Oh, yeah, let me tell you something. You might want to consider doing this too. Anyway, what happened was we were those years. I don't know if I was the mayor at the time or not, but they had Millville night, you know, at Citizens Bank Park. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, actually, I'm sorry. This was at
Veterans
that stadium.
Yeah.
This was back in those years. So what we were able to do was when we won the city championship, we got to go up. Bill Ritter was one of my coaches, and Judge Forrester and all that.
Sure.
So we took the kids up to the field, and they got free admission and all that. And we got to go down on the field with the kids, hit the ground balls, fly balls and stuff. And this was 1980, and this was when Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, and all those guys were there. And it was funny, I used to do a newspaper story for the Millville Daily, or Millville News, actually. And I interviewed one of my former Little Leaguers who was a super college athlete, and was now, I think it was a doctor. And we were talking, and he said, you know, Jim, the best time of my life was going up there, and here he's in his 30s, and they still remember that. My son is in his 50s, and he still remembers how great it was to be able to do that. And the good thing too, Mary, you might. I know what I was going to tell you. Guess who my ticket guy is at Citizens Bank Park? A Vinelander, and you will know his family very, very well.
Really?
Luciano.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is Nick Luciano, and when I met him, I said, "You're not Duke's relative?" He goes, "Yeah, that's my great-grandfather. George is his grandpa."
How about
that? His dad passed away.
Yeah.
But what a great guy. So I was just saying, you might want to get, you know.
We're everywhere, Jim.
Yeah, that's the truth.
We're everywhere.
What a great kid. Just a super
Fantastic.
person. And we talk. It was funny too because I have season tickets. Bob Connor and actually Mike Vizard. We split them 3 ways. So the playoffs come, and we only have the 2 seats. So I said, look, you guys go, because my son is with NBC,
right?
So we were going to get tickets anyway. But it was $6,900 for the tickets and the parking. Well, that's because they expect how far they're going to go. Well, they only went the first round. So Nick called me the other day. I said, Nick, how much money do I have left? He said $6,300. He said, put it towards next year. I said, yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Wow. Well, they better make some moves because there was very disappointing playoff.
My gosh, they were striking out like crazy, and guys that were all-stars like Alec Bohm looked terrible, and they just kept. They really. Yeah, they do. They need to make some moves for darn sure. It's like, oh my God. But I'll tell you what, when Mike Trout came in, speaking of Phillies and Millville Night, we ended up having, I bought 5,000 tickets, or reserved, we bought them actually, in the upper deck, 400 level from third base to first base. And they all sold out because it was Mike's first time coming to Citizens Bank Park. What was really nice was the Phillies gave us $8 a ticket, so we sold. We got $40,000 from the Phillies to give, like the Levoy and the charities in town, stuff like that. Now they've cut it down. I think it's $4 or $6 a ticket, but still, it's a nice thing. You know, you get a group.
Yeah, they don't have to give you anything really.
Yeah, and they did. And what was really nice, Dave Montgomery and I got to be friendly, and of course he passed away. He was president, and what a nice man. And my thing that I got from it, that was the greatest thing I could have asked for, he treated me and my 2 sons and my attorney, I took him with us, the 4 of us, to a Eagles game. We sat in the Phillies suite at the Eagles game. And I said,
how nice is that?
Great. Yeah, that was super. Then got to sit and talk to some of the Phillies that were there, things like that. But I've had season tickets with them for 25 years. Ever since Citizens Bank Park's open, I've had the same tickets. You know?
Well, I haven't been to a Phillies game in years, but anytime I was at a Phillies game, I'd always run into you in the Hall of Fame Club.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's where and that's funny too. For the folks, the Hall of Fame Club is like a step-up type situation where you have a nicer restaurant, you have the bar if you want, and you could sit inside if it's too hot or too cold. We got TV monitors.
Easy to access bathroom.
That's the thing I was going to say, Mary.
As we're getting older, that's important.
I got my son Gary is vice president of NBC Sports. So last year, well, this year too, he got the tickets, and they were section 133 over on the third base side on the nice seats, but we were spoiled. In the Hall of Fame, you don't have to wait in line for a bathroom, you don't have to wait in line for food or anything like that. Yeah. There, it's a good thing my kidney held up because they're bladder or whatever. I was standing in line forever, like, honestly, I think 20 people in front of me going to the bathroom, you know, because it's just sold out. It's
of course, it's a packed house.
So you do get spoiled in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you do.
For sure.
I got to get back to a game, though, because my wife's a big Phillies fan.
Yeah, that's super.
Loves the Phils, and you know, and I've been meaning to try to get the girls there too. And
yeah, it would be nice.
Because my littlest one is a softball player.
Oh,
so
that's great.
You know, the kids would watch the Phillies games with us, and you know, watch the frustration on mommy and daddy's face. You know, game after game this year. But you know, it's great tradition though, and letting them grow up around the sports, and you know, that's a great thing about our area and our region. And, you know, and why it's so important that we continue the mission, right? And people ask me, why are you continuing to serve in government? Well, it's a beautiful area we live in.
Yes.
As long as I feel like I'm bringing something productive and doing it with all my heart, I want to do it because I want to make it better for them.
Yeah.
You know, I want to have the area, you know, for my kids and then maybe their kids and, you know, and everyone else's children and grandchildren and brothers and sisters. And, you know, we're in a beautiful area close to all the great major cities with food and travel and sports and culture and religion, you name it.
When I leave, like, if I pick my visitor up and leave, like, on 55 near Garden Road, I can be there in 35 minutes.
It's an easy run.
Boom, you're right there. And, you know, it's just super. And, you know, we're close to Atlantic City, close to, you know, New York City, really, if you want to speak about that, too. But certainly Philadelphia and Atlantic City are right there, knocking on the door. And what's nice, though, is the satisfaction that you get for all the good things you've done, and to be able to sit back and say, yes, I was part of that. And, and you've talked about Bobby D, we've talked about Sandy, Forsiska, and many, many others. You got
Rick Tanetta.
Yeah, great attorney. In fact, Joey B, my cousin, stole him part-time from you, right? He does.
Yeah, Rick went back reluctantly, Joe. Don't worry. We got him covered over here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Rick's been a staple in so many administrations.
Yes.
He's done a fantastic job. His heart's here. He does everything he can to protect us. And then we've added, great members to the team over the years. Sue Baldessaro in finance. Anthony Quigley in technology, who's heading that up. People all over the city. Jimmy Neer. I know you know Jimmy Neer.
I love Jimmy. Jimmy messaged me. We were having an audio problem or something. He messaged me on that. But God, what a worker! Oh my God, he is amazing.
Unbelievable.
It's hated to see the county leave him, but I'm glad he came to you.
Yeah. No, listen. It was time for him to make the right move, I told him. So I said now.
Yeah.
But he's a great guy. But these people have all added so much to, and I mean, and the names are endless of the people that we could talk about that are in the administration, and some of the people that are longtime people inside City Hall that have really stepped up and embraced the culture that we've, brought is amazing. Where they've really, are happy with what we're doing, seeing the growth, being happy. Our first responder departments, you saw the new fire station, I'm sure, completed. All 3 public safety buildings are new and been renovated, EMS, police, and fire.
Well, and City Hall looks so nice.
Thank you.
What a beautiful job.
I had...
that was not a pretty City Hall.
No.
It was functional, but but Millville's is even uglier, so don't worry. Even before you did what you did. This was a funny story with Millville City Hall. It to me, was an ugly building. And there was a guy, he had a family, and he was from Vineland, too. Can't think right now, but his one daughter was a judge, I think. Anyway, he was the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director in Millville when I took over as mayor.
Okay.
And he raised money to put a mural on the side of the building.
All right.
So one of the commissioners, I said about doing it, it's going to ruin the building. I said, are you kidding me? That mural is going to help this building. And it does. It looks really nice. It's honoring World War II with the Army Airport Museum and all that kind of stuff. But he really did a nice job to get that going. So, but wait, Vineland, my gosh, it's amazing. It's super.
Listen, everybody's a critic.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And you can't make anything better if you don't try.
Yeah.
Millville's a city with so much potential, and it's, again, strategically located. It's got a fantastic airport.
Yes.
Which I was out there a few weeks ago for an event that was helping veterans. And when I was there, I got to kind of go around a little bit again, and a lot of activity over there right now.
Yeah.
And, I know the golf course is bringing a lot of activity to the airport.
Yep. Tiger Woods is flying his private jet in there
every time, right?
Out,
And people don't realize it, and, I think they need to market that a little better as an asset in Millville.
Yeah.
Now, who actually owns that airport?
The city.
Okay.
They've been leasing it to the DRBA. The mayor has told me there's some movement going on. He couldn't tell me exactly, but they're trying to do something. They did get Lavoni meets in the industrial park at the airport, which I started. I have another funny story that when Jim Hurley was around, I decided to name the industrial park at the airport the Jim Hurley Industrial Park. Well, unfortunately, not a lot of activity happened during that period of time. And then just a couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you knew the Shannon brothers, Tim and Rob.
Yes.
Well, they named the youth football area for Tim Shannon. Well, when I was the mayor, I named the girls' softball area for Rob Shannon. So Rob came up to me at the event, and he told me this too when I named it after him. He goes, "Hey, Jim, thanks a lot. You named the dump after me." Well, the girls' softball was in front of the old dump.
That's
so
funny.
I just laughed. I said, "Yeah, Rob, but still got the girls' softball there."
My daughter plays out there.
Does she?
Yeah, because when we play Millville, that's classically we play there more often than they come to Vineland. But it's it's easy to get to, and again, close to that airport. I think Millville could do so much and could really be thriving economically if we had a plan of focus for, some things there. And I think the real highlight, frankly, is that airport, that racetrack, right?
Yeah.
And then they still have some beautiful land out there that could be developed with some nice housing.
Yeah.
And and they got to do it. It's a shame that the municipal government struggles in the way that it does.
Yeah, and you know what? I look at them, and they don't have what I had. My Sandy Forsiski was Kim Ayers. Super job. Don Ayers also.
Yeah.
And again, it's the people that you surround yourself with.
It's a team.
It is, absolutely. And some great people there. And the commissioners I had, we all worked together on that and everything. So it was a good success. But again, they were the ones. And when we came up with the Arts District, I think Kim Ayers did, and then we got Wheaton Arts involved with it. We actually, at one point in time, I think it was 1980, what am I saying? No, I got elected in 1997. It was 2001. We had gotten to the point where we had 95% occupancy downtown.
How about that?
But brought in 16 pioneer artists, which really helped. But then 2008, the economy went down. So in fairness, I don't think it was anybody's fault. It was just people didn't have that extra
Everybody
money to
got
buy
beat up
art.
all over.
Yeah. So that's what.
Millville
there.
had some great. What was it? The third Fridays.
Yeah, third Friday we
Right?
started. Yeah. Yeah.
We would come over from Vineland, friends and I.
Yeah. Yeah,
We'd
I'd
walk
see a
down
lot of
High
Vineland
Street.
friends,
Yeah. And you could stop at the bars and the restaurants, and you would see everybody, and and you had that downtown Philly feel to a degree, right?
Yes.
And then that unfortunately has been lost. It would be great if they could really revitalize that and get some activity back downtown.
They are trying.
It would be helpful there. And again, the marketing plan now. I know Mayor Romanik's been trying to work on some different initiatives. He's reached out to talk to us several times, which is great. So having contact with him has been a real positive.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good young guy that's his heart's in it, and I know the family's been there a very long time.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. And he's really trying.
Yes.
It would be great if he's able to really light a couple fires and spark some things there to drive some more initiatives and stuff. But the form of government in Millville,
The most messed up form of government. I don't think there are 4 or 5 commission forms of government left in the state of New Jersey. Sea Isle got away from it.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't function because when you run, and I always tell this story when I was, just a businessman in Millville, my favorite mayor was Chet Goodwin. He was my landlord. He was a super guy. He was an accountant, insurance man, great person. So I go to the ballot box in the election, and I go, okay, Chet gets number 1. And then I go down the list, 2, 3, 4, and I get to number 5. And I think, well, this guy's a nice guy. He doesn't do a whole lot, but he doesn't make problems. So I give this guy the 5th vote. Guess what? In this stupid form of government Millville has, he becomes the mayor. I know him and everything else. It almost killed him. The stress on him, it wasn't what he was cut out for. And what happened was I was at his house when it came out that he was going to be the mayor. And he really didn't want it, but the family and everybody, you got to take it. You were number 1.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So, I mean, that's where you get that problem there. I mean, even however you look at it, it's just a messed up form of government. It really is. I mean, you ought to be able to run like you did with a team. You've got the leadership, and you're the experienced man, and you pick up good people, and that's why Vineland's doing so very well. To your credit and to your council people's credit.
We couldn't thrive in the way we're thriving with a different form of government, in my opinion.
I agree.
And it's not a power thing for people at home that are trying to read into what I'm saying here. It's a matter of separating duties from daily administration, daily function.
You're the executive, then.
And we have a legislative branch,
exactly,
that does what we need to do. There's checks and balances in place. But you need a leader with a vision that can explain that vision, impart that vision, and then have people buy into it as long as it's the right vision. And listen, there were times in Vineland that vision was not very good.
No.
And there was a period in time where Millville was climbing fast and Vineland was stagnant. We're moving backwards, and that's not what we want. Frankly, what we want is Vineland firing on all 8 cylinders, Millville firing on all 8 cylinders, Bridgeton firing on all 8 cylinders.
Helps the whole county.
And then as the 3 of us go,
so
everything else
county.
comes with it, you know. And that's why getting along is important. You know, the partisan politics, leave that for everybody else. Let the municipalities do things to work together, whether it's the Democrat or Republican or independent. All government is local, and we really have the most hands-on impact here. You know, working with the people.
Sure.
Guess what? You're that guy in a grocery store. You're that guy at Wawa.
Oh,
you're that
absolutely.
guy at the baseball game.
Yeah.
You know, you're that guy. You know.
You know, it's interesting talking about being I was at Wawa the other night, and I don't know if I ever told you this story, but it's scary. When I was the mayor, there was a young man who was killed on Mulberry Street between 4th and 5th, and they're probably drug related. They went right in his house, shot and killed him. Oh. So one of the ministers said to me, Mayor, would you come out to the candlelight vigil in honor of this young man? I said, sure. So I go out and I express my condolences to his mom and his sister, and we're on the porch, and there's probably 50 people in the street, and I made the following statement, and I still believe it. I said, in my opinion, anyone possessing an illegal gun should do 3 to 5 years in prison. Well, I come off the steps, one of the cops comes over to me, puts his hand on my shoulder. He said, you know, Mayor, half the people you just said that to are packing right now. I went, oh my God. He said, no, I'm telling you the truth. So I said the similar thing at school, at the high school, with seniors. So this one kid lived in the neighborhood. He raised his hand. I said, yeah. He said, hey, Mayor, you live where I wanted to live. You don't want to have a gun. I thought, oh, my God. But, see, I'm not an NRA person. I don't think anybody should have. The hunters can have guns. But, you know, do you really need the Uzi-type guns and all that? That just – but we've got shootings. We just had another killing in Millville City Park. And it's like, what are we doing? You know, and it's so sad, but it's gone to the point, and I mean, let's face it, I'm, you know, not an NRA person because I don't own a gun. I don't think anybody, except if you want to go out and do shotgun for deer hunting, I understand, that's a sport. Okay, fine.
Right.
But I was in Florida many, many years ago, and a lady from Great Britain was in front of me, and she said to me, can you tell me something? I said, what's that? She said, my sons are 18 and 20 years old. They can't have a beard. But yet, across the street, there's a gun store, and people here can go buy guns. I said, welcome to America, you're right. In England and Ireland and all the foreign countries, you don't have that. You don't have mass murders because they don't have the guns to do the mass murders with. So, yeah, I know a lot of people would disagree with me, but I'm not running for anything. So
no, you're
I'm
good.
just telling you the truth, that it scares me that how many... Oh, I know, Jim Durrell and I, one day, when I was mayor and he was vice mayor, we went walking by this guy coming back from the Olympic Day, the situation at the high school. We're on Broad Street in Millville, and within 2 minutes, 3 minutes after we walked by, he's doing an armed holdup of this chicken place at High and Broad. And I'm thinking, hey, we're this far away from it. And again, legally, the police are not allowed to stop and frisk. You got to have cause. You can't just, you know. I'd love to see metal detectors where everybody has to go through a metal detector.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's funny, when I was at the hospital, unfortunately my daughter was in it. She's getting home tonight. But when you go in, they say to you, you got any weapons? I said, lady, I don't own any weapons, and I wish other people didn't either, but that's the way it goes. So.
You know what, it's a tough one because you're right. You know, we grew up in a family that, you know, my father was a hunter, my brother was a hunter, my grandparents were my grandfather was a hunter, but that was a means of eating.
That's good.
You know,
yeah.
For us, because we didn't have a whole lot all the time, and you know, I remember the days where, you know, it was rabbit and polenta.
Wow.
You know, a lot of it. You know, at like my grandparents' house, and you know, and people are like, really? I'm like, yeah. People look at like a polenta cake on a menu now, and they think this is gourmet. I'm like, boy, am I in the wrong area, right? And they don't get it. I'm like, you think that's gourmet? And I'm like, yeah, it's cute. They dress it up nice now. And I'm like, it's cornmeal. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, trust me, we grew up on this. You had a bag of that, you know, grandma made or mom made, and then they slapped red gravy on it, and you know, and then if you were lucky, you got a rabbit that didn't taste too gamey. You know, I can't help, like, you rattle off the specials here with the calf's liver, right? Yeah. Liver and onions, you know, because why? it was cheap and it had some level of nourishment, and you know,
good point.
and we used to go to J. Seams Market and get it,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely, I've gone there myself.
And grew up simply, and it's just like, you know, people don't get it, but I would not trade those things for anything in the world, because they helped me be the person I am today.
Yeah.
You know, everybody looks at you and, you know.
See, I thought you were born into wealth.
A lot of people do that. I hear that a lot. What do you mean? It's like, you have no idea what it was like to grow up, you know, and it just, it's one of those things. And I worked really hard, and I want to continue to work hard, and I never want my kids to experience the struggles that you know, we experience, or the struggles that we experienced when we started our businesses, and the trials and tribulations. But I want them to be educated on the fact that those things can happen. I want to give them an advantage in life. That's my job, I feel, as a father, as well as Stacy and how she feels as a mother, and what we want to do to protect our kids in the future. And but I want them to know that, listen, you know, you have to look at things, because you are one mistake away from being here and being here. You know, and I think that's why a lot of times I have a heart for what goes on with our homeless population, our disenfranchised population, where, you know, some people you just can't help. They don't want to be helped.
That's true.
There are people that we have been able to get to help, and that's important, and we have resources for that. But
they do have a wonderful soup kitchen in Vineland too.
They do. Everybody pitches in, but there's a greater good that needs to be done here. You know, the soup kitchen's great, but it's like, all right, here's a Band-Aid for today.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What are we doing to identify the exact reason that you and I may be homeless? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a health issue. Maybe we just lost a job, and all of a sudden temporarily it's an issue, but you've got a skill set and an education. And we have found that. Not everybody's a drunk and a drug addict.
Right. No,
and that's part of the problem. They get labeled.
Yeah, they do. Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
So we are trying to send the right resources out on the streets to talk to people, pull them in, and work between the shelter out on Mays Landing Road,
which is wonderful,
the food pantries, the soup kitchens, temporary housing. But I think we have to identify some more of this and come up with a bigger plan for the county.
Yeah, I agree with you. I volunteer in Millville at the Hope Center, and you know, I've talked to some wonderful people. And unfortunately, I remember this one kid named Travis. He's like in his mid-20s, super kid, bright. We're having a great conversation. And I said, Travis, what are you doing here? He said, Mr. Quinn, I'm a heroin addict. And 6 months later, he died. So again, that goes along with, you know, the problems, mental health problems, the drug addiction. And there are things that are very prevalent. And I mean, this was a great kid. You know, he just made a mistake, and it's not that they're necessarily bad. It just, you know, got into the wrong situation. And there are a lot of people that have drug problems and alcohol problems and things like that.
And a lot of them you can't fix.
No, you can't.
But if you can fix, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, you've helped.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
Especially those with kids. And
Yeah,
people
that's true.
can't say there's
They
no
steal
jobs.
the shelter,
Because we have a ton of jobs available in Vineland. Our industry has grown so much. Our economic development plans were so significant and were so impactful that the expansions and the new constructions that have taken place have hundreds and hundreds of jobs available. And you know, if people want to work, there's work.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And listen, it's not all minimum wage work.
No,
believe me, a lot of it is mid to higher end wage. Especially if you're willing to hustle.
That's the problem. We're talking with Mayor Fanucci. We'll be back to wrap up our program right after these messages.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find Him. That's by personal experience with Him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to Him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to our Insight program. I'm Jim Quinn, along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci, the first person in the city's history to be a 3-term mayor. And congratulations, Mayor. And I just, one of the things, we're going to be going shortly into our Coach's Corner show, and Millville football, Coach Ayala has done a phenomenal job. And there's a player named Lotzir Brooks from Millville who is phenomenal. He set all kind of records. And my son, who's vice president of NBC, they run the All-American Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
So he was helpful in getting Lotzir picked for the All-American Bowl. The guy is so talented. My son did say when they were looking at some of the tapes, or whatever, before they looked at the tapes, they said, well, he's not that big. He said, I don't care how big he is super, and he is a phenomenal football player. So Millville is playing for the semifinals. Tomorrow night we'll have that game on for you, and then they'll do the finals, which will probably be against Winslow Township's the only team that beat Millville, and the prep. Your school beat them, but you've got good players there.
We don't gloat.
No.
But you know what? Millville's had a fantastic tradition in high school football.
Yeah,
they have a reputation, even on years where they may not have been good. They're feared. Vineland has had a rich tradition in football.
We got Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, look, Pop was there. And we have some kids coming up right now that are fantastic young athletes, and better yet, good kids that are concentrating on their education. They've been involved with a couple of these programs in the city, and Chris Wilson, who used to be with the 3rd Street Football League, with Sound Mind, Sound Body, has really stepped up to help these kids. We have folks doing different things with golf now, with Mentor on the Green programs.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now you're going to have this big golf course in town.
Exactly, and I mean these guys teamed up with Eastland. James Cooper was running on that, and they had a lot of different things. There's been other groups. The Blitz football program is doing amazing right now.
I used to do some of their games.
It's just great to see, but it's also important that they're stressing the academics to these kids.
Well, and and with Millville, the star athletes are also doing very well. They're in the Honor Society, so I mean that goes along with what you're saying. To both towns' credits, they're working with the kids not just athletically but academically as
Listen,
well.
when I grew up, the best athletes weren't always the smartest cookies, right?
No, I know what you mean.
So, there was a couple of them that were standouts, but most of the time not so much.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly the way it was with my high school team. A couple were standouts, but most of them were just, good guys, but they weren't students.
They weren't concentrating on the academics, didn't realize it, and it was tough some days. But you know what? It is what it is, and you do what you do to keep on going. But it's.
And we still have the Thanksgiving tradition coming up.
Yeah, are we the longest standing?
Yeah, as far as I know, we are.
Yeah,
yes.
in the country, right?
Oh, and and interesting, as we talk about that, Millville is still one game down to tie it So if they could win this year, it'll be 66, 66, or 67, 67. And I don't have any ties, but
Where are we this year? We are
in Vineland.
In Vineland this year.
And you know, I got to tell you, thank you so much to the Vineland Public Schools, to Gia. She works with Ryan and I with our stuff. At Nick Caselda, they had the dedication of the high school to his brother, and she provided us with feed. We put it on Channel 22,
awesome.
so we work well together. And when we go to Vineland, she gives us some feeds, and we, work together.
Again, cooperation.
It is.
What a miracle.
Isn't
Cooperation.
it? Yeah, and they're wonderful. I mean, it's just great to deal with the city of Vineland, and Bridgeton's helpful, although we don't play Bridgeton anymore. But yeah, Vineland's been wonderful, and Gia and her staff are just great people.
That's what somebody should run on in the next election. Cooperation.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you're there.
When's Millville's election?
Next year.
Okay.
Next November.
There you go. Cooperation, right?
Yes, right.
And, what an innovative thought.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
That and a little common sense would go a long way.
It sure would.
And I always feel we have a vested interest from Vineland into Millville because, again, next biggest city.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well. We're doing well. It
And
spills
the county
over.
does
The
well.
county does well. And
Everybody does.
And it's important. You never want to see people failing. Like we have healthy competition, I believe, but you don't want to be competitive to the point where you're killing each other. We're all on the same. We're all on the same team here in Cumberland County.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of just your successes. So, I hope for the best for everybody. But I am very honored to be back.
It's great to have you back. Thank you for
it's still
coming in.
Still kind of surreal for me.
Oh, I knew you had it. Come on now.
Well, you're running. I hate that I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it to be negative or demeaning. Yeah, you have an opponent, but I was running against history.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, you were.
And
3 terms. Yeah, that's.
And that was there, but I did it when I ran from council president to mayor. None had won. They all lost.
Yeah.
So we did that. So I had a little level of confidence going in. Yeah. I felt good about our record. I felt good about what our accomplishments are. But you got to make sure people know.
Yeah, that's true. And you got the message out. You had some nice commercials I saw, and I'm sure.
Jim, I'm so blessed by all the people that supported us and stood by me. And we're just so positive and very helpful and making phone calls and walking with me and knocking on doors with me and talking to the people and trying to get it out. We're very, very fortunate, and it is a humbling experience because I never thought I'd end up here one day, let alone here 3 times.
Yeah, well, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan, for producing the show.
Yes, thank you, Ryan.
And we're going to go to my good friend Tony Trongone, Coach Ayala, and some super Millville High School football players as we go in now to the Coach's Corner Show. Thanks for joining us, and Mayor and I will be back again next month here at the Queen Restaurant. Thank them for their sponsorship as well. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.